today I've got a pretty big box here. Today I'm going to be showing you what's inside this box. It's an Atten, I hope that's how it's pronounced, Atten 862 or ST-862D hot air station. So I ordered this off of AliExpress, one of the stores on AliExpress, and it took about just over a week to get here, which isn't too bad. So let's see what's in the box. I think it may have been, you can see it was typed up pretty well by the shipper. I think it was probably opened for some customs purpose because there's got a clear tape here, but let's not spend a lot of time on the tape. So I think they sliced it there, and it definitely looks like it's been sliced here. Yeah. And around this side too. Okay, well, I'm not sure if you can see, but it seems pretty well packed for this item. So we've got a user manual. We'll look at that later. Well, it's past QC, so save that, might come in handy later. We've got here all the tips that I ordered. Oh, there are a few tips, a few more tips that should be coming with it. Let's see what we're in there. Power cord. I don't know, looks like it's probably a grounding strap maybe. Okay, the other tips I ordered are here, so that's good, because I saw a review of this and they were pretty keen on making sure you got vent nozzle. Sorry that that's barely in the frame. You get to see everything in a second here. In the box, you can see they've been fairly careful to pack this. Let me just get it all out of the box without breaking anything else. So there's the hot air tube there. Just lay it all here. And there's the base station. And that's it. So let's make sure you can see that. That's a nice little unit there. So first thing, before we actually get going with it, this stand for the nozzle is nice and heavy. So that's good. That's not going to flop around on the workbench. Can't see what was in here, but ripping the bag off. Nozzle, fairly nice, good feel to it. Let's actually looks like a pretty decent piece of equipment. I think it's supposed to go like that. Let's move this over a little bit. And then this fits over there. Let's make sure you can see that. So that looks pretty nice, actually. Yeah, it should, because not the cheapest thing in the world. So now that you've seen what the station looks like from the outside, the next thing I'm going to do before we actually start to use it, I have a Mac board I'll take some parts off of. But before I start using this, let's take a look at what's inside the box. And I mean really inside the box. So I'll take the, looks like there's about 8 screws involved here, 4 on each side. So I'll pull the screws off and then we'll have a look inside. All right, so we've got the inside of the unit from, this is the right-hand side view. Turn it around in a bit, show you what it looks like from the other side. But you can see, if I come up a little higher here, the wiring is really neatly done. And it's very, very tidy inside. You can see we've got the connection to the fan across here. We've got the power back here. And so that's doing its magic, generating DC voltage, and it's very neat and tidy, and it's pretty well labeled, and they've also glued the connectors in place, so very nice there. So we've got AC in, AC out there, and then that's feeding into this transformer here. Let's flip around to the other side. You can see there's a fan here. Pretty decent fan. Now it's a, as it says there, it's a 24-volt fan. So clearly we're converting in here the AC voltage into a DC voltage on the board here. And these wires. Okay, so then there's some wires that run to the end of the heating element. And then all of the, let's try to get a shot in there, all the electronics that control the system. So all in all, it's a pretty neat and tidy board. And you know, the work inside here, it's not like the wires are going around crazy or flopping around. The wiring looks pretty good. The motor is mounted on a vibration set of bumpers there, see? And there must be wiring. Oh yeah, you can feel there's wiring running through the center there. So next thing we're going to want to do is plug it in. But you can see here that the board is pulling off a few different voltages. Now AC voltages, mind you. Probably getting converted to DC as required. But here, this one's labeled AC 9 volts. This one's 24 volts. The motor is a DC motor, and it's also got a speed control, so it's connected over there. And then you can see in the bottom here, we've got the connectors for the on-off switch. And there's another one down here, hard to see maybe. That one says AC 7 volts. So that's also coming off the power supply, off the transformer here. So there's a variety of different voltages that are getting pulled off the transformer. So a little bit of hot glue strings strung around the inside, not too bad. But all in all, it's a very clean unit. Very clean unit. Nothing done in a sloppy fashion. No wires sort of sitting where you'd be worried about them. And things are kind of cable tied, and they've even got them kind of, in some cases, cable tied down to the base so that the wires just don't run to the wrong place. So the wires are pretty sturdy, so they're not going to go to the wrong spot either. And yeah. And the ground wire is hooked up, and the ground wire hooks up into the case. And there's a grounding pin at the back here, you can see. And that's all grounded into the same spot on the case, and that hooks up into the ground pin here on the 3-prong outlet. It's a very, very nice unit, very clean. Very clean. Does not look, I was a little bit worried. Does not look like it's cheaply made at all. Looks like it's very well made. Nice, clean, well labeled, well laid out, clean wiring. Nothing flopping around. Very nice. Okay, so now I'm going to put it all back together, and we'll see how it works. All right, so everything is plugged in. You can see we've got a pretty tight workspace here. So let's turn the unit on for the first time. UO3 off. Okay, so that basically means that there's a version number, which is version 3. I think it said 862. So that's the model number. And then we can take the gun off the stand and There's a button here. But, oh yeah, it's heating up pretty well. So that button causes it to start. And that button also causes it to cool down. Okay. And now the temperature is below a certain value, the fan's turned off. So, so that's pretty much what it's supposed to do. Now it's a little noisy, but I guess what do you expect for a rework station? Now I've got down here, if I zoom out a little, I'll just put this in the holder for a second. I've got a board out of an old Mac Pro. So I guess this is what's left after you strip everything bare. So there's a lot of stuff on here that that could be desoldered. So I think first let's figure out what we want to take off here. So the CPU is under the heat pipe here, so I'm going to hold off on that. Can build up a little experience. One of the things I think would be interesting to do would be to try to take off some of the jacks here. So we've got a USB port here and a Thunderbolt port, the SD card holder. Someone's already tried to rip this board apart. So we're going to try to take the USB port off. It's soldered in a couple spots here. So I'm going to get myself a pair of tweezers. Helping hands here. Maybe just to keep the board from falling over. I guess we don't need the electrostatic tweezers. Use the cheaper tweezers. Okay. So just need to make sure the nozzle is not in the way here. So we'll try this now. And like I say, I'm going to be trying to pull off this USB port. Let's tip down a little bit. Maybe zoom in. A little bit there. So that's the port that we're going to try to take off. And there are a few spots that have to get desoldered. So let's turn it on. We've reached 350 Celsius. Should be enough to get the solder softening up. Okay, let's start with something a little easier maybe. It doesn't have as much heat sinking capacity. Let's try to take this chip off. Oh. Okay. Well, the chip came off in a couple seconds. No problem there. The USB port has a ton of heat sink, sinking a lot of heat because there's a lot of metal there, so maybe we should wait a little bit. Let's try and take this chip off down here. There we go. Oops. Well, I guess that's not a chip or something. A lot of inductors in there. Interesting. So peel the top off of that too. That's an interesting little package. What else do we want to try to take off here? How about this guy here? Okay, so I have to tell you that people who know how to do this make it look easy. Okay, so I finally did manage to desolder the USB port. It turns out I was holding this a little too far away from the board. So lesson learned there. So now we're gonna sort of tackle a few items on the top of the board. I also learned that you've got to have the heat closer to the board than you really thought was necessary, almost as though you're soldering with it. And now I understand why everybody likes to use a microscope, because you really need to see what's going on, and when you're up close, there's not a lot of space there. So I also managed to rip some solder pads off on this item, so I didn't heat that up enough. So let's I also had to turn the temperature up. So let's figure out what would be interesting to start with here. So here's a where's a good thing to pull off? Here's a good item. It's not too big. Hopefully not too much heat sinking going on there. Hopefully that's visible. Right over here. Pull off that chip there. Okay. So let's turn on. go. So that was a lot faster. That's sort of a much better technique. You really need to be down close to the board. And that just came right off. So, the big challenge now is going to be to try to get this larger chip off. And so let's see if we can manage to get this larger chip off. So this is going to take quite a while to heat up. Yeah. Okay, and after a lot of time spent blowing hot air, it finally came off. And the good news is it came off. I think the bad news, although maybe not too bad for first time at it, the bad news is I think I pulled off about 4 pads in the corner there, maybe 3. So after a huge amount of effort, a lot of hot air, I managed to desolder this BGA chip. And that probably means that I might be able to reflow a chip that I'm not planning to take off. So that's a good testimony. And I can't imagine what it would be like to try to do this with something that had less air. There's, of course, a lot of heat necessary, a lot of solder there, a lot of stuff to wick away the heat. All right, well, thanks for watching. That's been my first experience with the hot air rework station, and first experience with this Atten ST-862D rework station. So there are presets as well. but I'm sure you can all figure out how the presets work. That's not too exciting, but very, very nice unit, all in all. Very happy with that purchase. I was a little worried. Reviews I've seen were kind of mixed, but I am very happy with this unit. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.